Since it will cost you a bit of aim for realism if you have it on, which isn't the priority here. The priority here is to make you the best Warzone player that ever lived. So slap that setting off and let's get right on to the next one. Now for setting number 4, we have aim assist. This is that tension or slowness you feel when you're aiming at an enemy player. Yeah, that. See, standard precision and focusing are all a bit too vague in the description, but also a little bit too detailed for me to explain, so I'll have a link in the description below for exclusive Ace's detailed explanation of it. So go check it out either and then return to this video, or you can check it out after this one. Either one, it's up to you. Now use and reload behavior. For this one, start using contextual tap, as it's the best of both worlds honestly, where you don't have to worry about holding down the button to reload or interact with stuff. It's more efficient. Now, 2 scrolls down, we have armor plate behavior. Apply all. Reason for it is so, again, you don't have to worry about holding or pressing triangle or Y to start plating up fully. You can just let the game do it for you. And right under that one, we have sleight behavior. Now, for some reason in this game, by default, it's on hold, which is kind of weird, honestly. You have to hold down the button or joystick through the entire slide, and it just feels awkward doing so. Plus, tap has always been the way, it's the regular standard way in Call of Duty, so I would recommend to change that to tap if you already have it. Now also in the movement segment, we have automatic sprint. The reason for it being on automatic instead of manual is to save your controller in the long run from so many presses, and saves you time by moving the joystick forward rather than clicking it forward, since it'll register the move forward first before the click forward one. Now you can still slide cancel with this setting on, so don't worry about that, but keep in mind if you are laying down, it will not make you stand up and start sprinting automatically, so be careful with that. And now lastly, we have parachute auto deploy. Have it on disable to have more control on your landing, since the game can sometimes make you parachute too early and could potentially mess you up on your landing, so off it goes. Now onto general, we have brightness and film grain. Now I'm keeping both of them together since it's about how your gameplay looks, so we'll start off with brightness first. Brightness in this game does not work like in other Call of Duty titles, so please don't have it to the max, as it makes the game look dull and unsaturated. So instead have it a bit lower or just not too high like I have it. Here's an example of brightness at 100 and at 50. Now film grain. If you can't tell by what it is by the pictures, now film grain. If you can't tell what that is by the pictures, it basically makes your screen look like static kinda. Not a great sight, especially when you're trying to see at long range or tell apart a player and the surroundings. So make sure it's at 0 so your gameplay looks clean. And right under that, we have tooltips. Reason for it being off is simple. Less stuff cluttering on your screen. That's basically it. Now motion blur. By that I'm talking about both world and weapons. Motion blur is only used for the aesthetic look and not for a gameplay advantage. Also it's very distracting and in my opinion it makes me feel dizzy. Also it's easier to spot enemies while turning around without it than everything looking like a tornado when you turn. Now onto minimap shape. You want to have it square so you can see a bigger radius than you could as a circle. It's nothing too major, but if anyone is close by, it's always helpful. Audio mix and the rest of the volume settings. This one is also personal preference since it's based on how good your headset is. Now for audio mix, there's plenty that are good, so all that's left to do is just trial and error. Play the audio test and see which one you can hear best in, especially footsteps. Now right under that we have volumes. Again, it's also preference, but I recommend turning off music since it can be distracting in-game or just lowering it. The same can be said about your dialogue, slightly lower it, and effects since in this game, if you're playing in game chat, it can be very loud, as so.
Battle Royale. Gas is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone.
So yeah, I recommend lowering most of the volume settings but not too low so you can still hear footsteps and such. Now finally we're at voice chat. Now I'm sure most of y'all like to play with your friends or have the game on film, so make sure that you first test it all out so you're not too loud nor too low, since callouts and communication will help you a lot in this game. Unless you're playing solos, you don't have to worry as much, but hey, you know, sometimes you can get a funny death reaction, so hey, it's good to have. But that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, then drop a like so I know that you did, and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any more videos like this, as I'm gonna start making more videos on Warzone, such as improving at the game, class loadouts, etc. Now if you want to learn more on how to improve on your own gameplay, check out my last video as it covers that for Warzone and the Call of Duty multiplayer games. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.